So I want to go to Hallie Jackson right now, our senior Washington correspondent. Hallie, we have heard, while this was happening, we have heard from the Trump organization, or at least lawyers for the former president.
And let's start there, Lester, because it is a defiant response from one of the former president's attorneys representing him in this case, where they say today's filing is neither focused on the facts nor the law. Rather, it is solely focused on advancing the attorney general's political agenda. It is abundantly clear, this attorney, Alina Habba, says, that the Attorney General's office has exceeded its statutory authority by prying into transactions where absolutely no wrongdoing has taken place. We are confident that our judicial system will not stand for this unchecked abuse of authority, and we look forward to defending our client against each and every one of the Attorney General's meritless claims. So, unsurprisingly here, Team Trump casting this as a partisan, essentially, witch hunt against the former president. That is how Donald Trump has cast this investigation by the New York Attorney General, Letitia James, from the very start. And remember, Lester, stepping back, this is years in the making here, 3 years in the making. And let's think about what we just heard, because there's a couple of really important points here. First of all, so that people know, and I think it's important to remind folks, this is civil, not criminal. Nobody's going to prison here. Prison time is not an option for this particular piece of it, right? Because this is a civil investigation. That said, there are some very serious penalties that the former president and his adult children now face as far as doing business in New York, including, obviously, the cancellation of these business certificates, a ban on the former president or his kids serving on corporate boards. $250 million is what they are seeking in damages, essentially. That is what the New York Attorney General's office has assessed to be the, essentially, profits, the money that the former president has made from what she alleges to be fraud here. You can see it on screen here. Again, this is significant. This is serious. It is also, I think, for a lot of people, pretty accessible. You heard the Attorney General lay out a series of examples, and let's take one of them, Mar-a-Lago, right? She claims that Mar-a-Lago was valued as high as something like $700 million. That's a lot of money, when in reality, its actual value was closer to $75 million. I think people who are watching, I think Americans around the country, understand the concept of property value inflation. That is what the heart of the accusation is here. And you heard the Attorney General lay it out. There shouldn't be two sets of rules for rich people and other people, right? That is the essence of the claim that she is making. Now, the former president and his team have long gone after Letitia James, who we just heard from, the New York Attorney General. The former president has accused her of being racist, essentially, of being on this partisan witch hunt against him. That is how they have cast this all along. And as you just heard, they are continuing to be defiant here, saying that they are going to defend the former president, the Trump organization, the adult children here, Don Jr., Eric, and Ivanka, from any allegations of wrongdoing. But think about what this means big picture, Lester. This cuts to the core of something that is central to Donald Trump here, which is his wealth. He has made that a key part of his political persona. But even before that, his persona, what made him famous, essentially, has been how much money he has, how much money he has made, and what he has cast as his prowess in the business world in being successful. That was part of what propelled him to first fame and then, obviously, the Oval Office. This is central to that, the claims that are in front of us here. They're not the only investigations, by the way, that former President Trump faces. This is civil. Others are criminal. We can talk about that more. But let me just make one other point before I know you move on to other folks here, which is we are seeing now the names of Donald Trump Jr., Ivanka Trump, Eric Trump, the people who are very familiar to, obviously, all Americans as former first children who are being named in this lawsuit as well. They've sat for depositions. Former President Trump sat for depositions. Letitia James was in the room when he took the fifth more than 400 times, according to our reporting. So there will be a continuation of this, of the legal trouble, obviously, that the former president faces, Lester.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.